going to put on Do Not Disturb. Shalom, if there is anyone there. There's George. Think I need to get my glasses on so I can read and I got to take out my mouthpiece. Because we just got done doing jujitsu.
Yeah.
And it might be a little bit difficult for you all to understand if I still have my mouthpiece in.
You're clear enough.
I try. I worked on it for years to be able to enunciate with a mouthpiece in. Almost there. Shalom, G. Tandy, 308. Shalom, Zub Zub. There's Cody. You all know him from Sojourn Gear. Go to sojourngear.com right now. I heard that he's going to be finishing up quite a few items that's going up for sale, so get in there now. Yes, Palmetto Paratrooper. Glasses, glasses, glasses. Where are you? Canuck, it's Cody with a K.
I just told somebody that earlier today in the screen.
Shalom, all. Take off my heart rate monitor, my Garmin everything. Garmin watch just threw that on. I hope everyone is having a blessed second day, meaning Monday. How do I sound? Hopefully everything sounds good. This is my first Dudley Monday as a patron. Well, welcome, Brandon M. As y'all can see, everyone's cleaning up the jiu-jitsu mats. We were working on arm bars today, but they had no idea the progression of conditioning drills that we were doing was working up to arm bars. So, what time is it? That is what's up, Palmetto. I made some, what were those called? I can't think of the correct Mexican term for it. Quesadillas. Made some quesadillas during men's retreat, ATS, which I believe everyone was good. No one threw up. No one got stuck in the bathroom. So that's always a positive experience when you cook. I guess I got on here early. It's only 19:01, and we're already 3 minutes in. Yes, VicCast. VicCast was my, is that called sous chef? You died from eating them. Oh no. My sous chef VicCast. You are correct. They disappeared quick. I barely even got one. That's what's up. NNY, yes, NNY Prepper. They were great. I got better. Well, it's good that you got better. I don't know what you were putting in your space coffee storms. That's actually what messed you up, not my cooking. At least that's going to be my story that I'm sticking with. What is, oh no, that would be the switch to camera. There's all these new options when you're doing live streams. But even though it is only 19:02, we're 4 minutes in because I got on here early, and people could just rewind and play it back. So we're going to get started by talking to the Father. Yeah, please. For all the brothers that are here, let them understand this message. There are different places that I'm going to go with this, but I'm also going to keep it short and sweet. Please let them hear and understand the words that I have prepared and that it makes sense to everyone. This, I'm asking for your grace. Amen. So we are here to talk about adultery. Adultery is all throughout the Bible, and how you deal with it. There are some people that got stoned to death, some people that abuse their power as kings in their kingdoms. There are some people that that didn't know that they were being adulterous, and that may be where a lot of people are today in this walk. So adultery goes from infidelity, and infidelity or cheating is the act of being either emotionally or physically unfaithful to a spouse or a partner and breaking a commandment or promise during the act. Now, adultery is engaging in physical sexual activity and may be considered a criminal offense and grounds for divorce in certain places. Now, I really didn't write any notes about divorce, but divorce, if you are being unrighteous, you can order a bill of divorce. And we're not talking about how we do it here in the States, where you talk to your lawyer and see how much money you can get. But you actually have to go through a process of figuring out why this divorce is happening, and it's more so based off of adultery because you were not living up to your covenant that you made not only with your spouse but to the father and to the community, because without a marriage that's hidden is not a marriage. If you are not if you did not let your community know that you're married, then you're not actually married just because you had a ceremony or just because you consummated the marriage. If your community is not involved and not holding you accountable, you are also in the wrong. So there are three types of adultery. You're married and have sex with an unmarried person. You're single and have sex with a married person. Or you're married and have sex with a married person who is not married to you. So that's just a whole bunch of wrong. Now, what I was just talking about, the covenant marriage is a bond between a man and a woman and the father where things are worked out and understood who and why you exist in this relationship. It builds a stronger commitment, understanding roles beforehand and why things go the way they go. This way, there is no question or feelings of abuse or neglect that could lead to adultery or divorce. Now, a lot of people have been divorced or know someone that has been divorced. That's a very traumatic time. But how many people that have been divorced have actually gone through with a covenant with their spouse and with the father and then still failed? That is what we are trying to get back to. That's why we are having these talks and trying to bring people not only back to the Father, but bring people to a better way of understanding so that you can teach your children on what to do. Some ways in the Bible and current life have made the ability for men to make the covenant with multiple wives to further the Father's kingdom. This has to be an understanding with your first wife so that you do not make another woman into a whore and yourself into an adulterer, especially if you're just looking for a fling. There are a lot of people that is like, oh, well, I'm in this walk, I'm in this faith, I can have an entire harem of women just like King David. Like, no, it doesn't actually work like that. There are rules and agreements that have to happen for you to have multiple wives. One, you got to be able to afford it. If you can't afford it, don't even think about it. Two, you have to be very strong in your walk uh, and in your commitment to the Father, because without that, you will fall short and then you'll do everything wrong and your kingdom or your house will crumble. Yep, that's very true, Palmetto Paratrooper. Let's see. Within that covenant, there is a consummation of that marriage sexually and emotionally, giving yourself to pleasure. I'm sorry. Let me start that over. With that covenant, meaning the covenant of marriage, there is a consummation of that marriage sexually and emotionally, giving of yourself to pleasure your significant other, being patient and kind, showing them what love is. Sex is not what makes the covenant of marriage. However, it is like the signature on the covenant made. So if you're in an extreme traditional way, wait, there's a question. If someone were to write out their vows and get an ordained pastor to marry them with at least two other witnesses, get it notarized, does that make it legal without getting the corporate involved? Yes, it actually does. The reason why people, Kermode, the reason why people deal with the state and get state marriage licenses, they want the benefits that come with it, like the Social Security, the retirement benefits, and all of that stuff. Yes, King Solomon, he had hundreds of wives and hundreds of concubines. Where was I at? It's not make the kind of signature in the covenant. So yes, when you are going through marriage, if a woman, well, as it should be, the woman should still be in her father's house, and then you have to pay the bride price if you two are to get married. Now, along with that, it's not just like, hey, I got a couple of goats, donkeys, and sheep. Here you go, I'll take her. No, there has to be an understanding and negotiation with the woman and the father, with their family, and with the Father, the Most High, that you taking her as a bride has to have an understanding of what you yourself have to bring to the table. You can't just treat her or mistreat her, making her do everything. There has to be an understanding of what roles are to be done from the husband and from the wife, and there has to be a meeting in the middle, not just like, okay, you're going to be my wife, you're going to birth my children, you're going to clean the house, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. No, you just need a servant that you can have sex with. That's what you're looking for. That is not what this covenant is. You have to bring honor to your house. You have to bring honor to your wife and keep up with all of those commitments that you made in that covenant. Now, going back to what Kermode was asking about, just getting a marriage license does not give an expectation like a covenant. And because of this, the divorce rate has skyrocketed along with the adultery rate. Most because people don't understand what marriage is or why marriage is, because they did not seek guidance from the Father working towards this union. They just see what society does and tries to live up to it. But how can you live up to something when you don't know what's actually going on? When I was coming up, I didn't know what a man was. because I never saw a man before. I saw a whole bunch of males, but I didn't see a man standing up, being a man of the Father, being someone respectable in every aspect of life that they're in, and showing that consistency. I didn't come to that knowledge until I was 27. And then I had to look myself in the mirror and ask that question, are you a man? What are you going to do to better yourself to become a respectful man, a respectable man, a man that the community respects, and a man that's worthy of having a wife to be able to bring more life into this world? And that's when I was completely against the Father. I was trying to figure out and understand that. Now, on the other hand, the culture of whores, this subset of humans that were driven and turned on by being a home wrecker or the side piece, this can be male or female. We have gotten so far away from the Father's guidance that it does not take long to build up another Babylon where the hoes are promoted in our public square, meaning social media. You can't go a few posts that can take you down a rabbit hole of infidelity, getting your eyes to wander. You can focus on your career path or interest, and boom, there it is. You got someone on your screen that's half naked. What to do well? What to do well before the what do we do well before the internet? There were provocative TV commercials and shows. Before that, newspaper ads, and before that, books that go into extreme detail. Everyone here, what was that series of books that Fabio was on? That were like, oh, Fabio with his beautiful hair, there with his chest out, and then like a lion and like four women at kneeling at his feet, ready to do whatever he wanted. And that's what would play out in those books that that women would read, and then they would just dream like, oh, I wish my husband could be like Fabio, or whatever book. Like, some people started reading that 50 Shades of Grey book, and then they started desiring to have that, and then they're looking at their husbands like, oh, you don't tie me up and do all of this weird stuff to me. That means that you don't love me. I want a divorce, or I'm going to go commit adultery and find someone that can tie me up and do all the freaky, naughty, nasty stuff to me. Yeah, that wasn't in your covenant of that's what you expected. Not saying that those immoral acts should be in a covenant with your marriage, but still, you are not living up to your covenant, doing all of that craziness or desiring to do all of that craziness because you're reading immoral stuff that's getting your mind to wander, that is making you in your mind think immoral thoughts, go into infidelity, and then sometimes your flesh gets really weak and then you act on it, and then you're wondering why you're paying all of this money to visit a divorce lawyer. Shout out to my boy Blue. He's moving to Israel, I think sometime this year. He used to be one of my jiu-jitsu students when I was back in New Jersey. Holla at me, Blue. Now, even the Bible, the description of how bonds were made and marriages affirmed, something that we take for granted, being modest, would have thrown you for a loop, getting flustered. That is a place we need to get back to, curbing our lust for something forbidden. Because in the Bible, if you have something like the scriptures, it lets you know that this person did that person and then popped out that person. And then he lived for this many years and had this many more children, and so on and so on and so on. Even some of the, I remember seeing some of the Bibles that had drawings of nude people all over the place. And then that right there, I don't know if they did that to try and grasp people that were falling away from the Father and say, oh, if you come to church, you get these nudie magazines or nudie pictures that are in the Bible depicting all of these crazy acts. And then that's what people thought would bring people to the Father, as opposed to actually reading the Word. So, as y'all see, I didn't go into scripture because there are many chapters and verses throughout the Word to give you guidance. Hearing from me and not doing the reading for yourself is a total disservice to you. The Father laid it out. It's up to you to live correctly, love correctly. So remember, when you're dealing with whores out there, stay strapped up so you don't get the clap. Keep far, far away from whores. And don't do anything that will make you into an adulterer. And that's daydreaming about stuff. That is mentally lusting about stuff. Yes, Canuck, read the book and do what it says. You don't come to me. You don't go to anyone else to to dictate it to you. We are not under the ban where it's illegal for you to have the Bible. If you don't have one, of course, you all should know you can get one for free from Grindstone Ministries. It's just that easy and simple. But just getting one does not mean that you know and understand it if you're not cracking it open and reading it for yourself. That's the biggest thing. If you're not writing these scriptures on your heart, from reading them to living them and embodying them, then your temple is crap. Your body is supposed to be your temple. So if you're putting in a whole bunch of crap to your body and then a whole bunch of crap is coming out, how are you expecting for anything to go right in your life? If you're not following the Father's words and you're having issues in your marriage, you need to think about, well, how did they do it in the Bible? How did they fix these things? They had a covenant. Do I have a covenant with my wife? No, I don't. Maybe I should have a covenant with my wife. And then your wife will probably say, like, oh, this is the first time that we actually had a conversation in 15 years. And then you're like, holy crap, we don't really talk. We just happen to live together and we're just passersby and we're like this. Oh, yeah, the covenant thing is really important. I really need to reset what this marriage is before it falls apart. Before you got to get on the phone with somebody like Blue and say, hey, Blue, how can I keep my money before she takes everything from me? So it's your choice to read the word, do what it says, emulate the Bible, emulate the word, live the word. That's pretty much it. Let's see if there were any questions that I can answer. Men who have accomplishment that show that they are doing good things in life become a magnet to women. But if you are married, do not spend time alone with an unmarried woman. Yes. Oh, press on the screen. Yeah, that'll get you in a place of hurt because in job environments, people will be like, oh, this is my work husband, this is my work wife. Like, oh yeah, ha, ha, ha. Until y'all are in a private room, is like, wait, We've been saying work husband and work wife for how many years now? Well, maybe we need to consummate this work relationship, right? No, no, you're married. Like, I hang out with you and your husband, and you hang out with my wife, but what the hell? Wait, like, no. You have to gird your own loins. Pull on those zeet seats, straighten up, and walk away. Living in the world, not being part of the world, is difficult in the fallen world. Yes, but you have to be strength. You have to be a man of Yah, a warrior. If you don't have a Bible, you need to get about 7 different versions and read them in parallel. Yes, because everyone tries to put or finagle a word or two, getting you off the mark. Let's see. Once married, what is the difference between lust and desire for your wife? There is not any difference because you already have that commitment to your wife that your eyes are only for her. So you can lust, you can crave, and all of that stuff, but you also have to remember what your commitment was when you made that covenant with your wife, so that she doesn't feel overwhelmed, so that you both understand each other and you also listen, because everyone has a love language. If you go above and beyond somebody's love language, they might retract, and then you're wondering what's wrong, and then things get frigid, and then that's not right, and then everything crumbles. But you have to stand up and see your faults, because it's not that what you are doing is wrong. It's what you're doing is not being received, because that was not the expectation. Let's see. Is there anything else? Amen. Buckshot. What did Buckshot say? If you're married, probably shouldn't be alone with any woman, married or not. I concur. Shalom, brothers. I'm late. Finally caught at MGM. Well, welcome, Matthew Goza. Getting better at reading daily. Yes, you need to. It is so easy now. Like your Babylonian rectangle of death. You can you could download the Bible app. I forgot the one that Kosher Dad uses all the time. But in the Bible app, you can set alarms where the Bible verses of the day will just pop up on your phone, or you can gamify it, and there are like little scripture challenges that you can read every day. Yeah, eSword. Yep, that's another one. Let's see, what did Brandon M say? Brandon M said, I'm 36, so maybe a younger one here. I was not raised in what I know to be faith. I was raised in a digital age and sin. I will not let that happen to my kids and future relationships. Brandon M, hey, that is pretty much how I came into existence. I was a church boy that was looking at that goal line of becoming a minister, but trying to bed down every female in the church or the church body or nationwide that I could. And then I started to recognize that, I am not doing the Father's work. I am whoring. I have to fix something with myself so that I can cross that finish line to be a minister. But then I started looking around at all the ministers. It was like, wait, they all have their churches and they're still whoring. Am I going to cross that line and still do that? No. I need to go on a walk, on a journey, so I can figure out my pathway, and that's how I got to this now. I didn't come back to the Father until I was, 38? So you have time. Don't make it a long time. Yeah, thanks, VitCast. Blue Letter Bible, eSword, My Sword. U version. Yes, U version is the one that I use. Olive Tree, never heard of that. We were Christmas and Easter Lutherans. I had a rocky start to my marriage because of old habit. I can trace it directly to my dad as a bad example. Yep, it can happen like that. But you have to be the change that you want to see in the world. If not, you will continue down that same path, and then your generations after you will continue down that same path. Josephus, is premarital sex okay if it ends in a forever marriage? Uh, it depends on how you go about it. If you go about it and then it's like, oh, that was fun. You want to continue to do this for your rest of your life? Cool, let's get married. You need to repent on how you got into that relationship and ask for the Father's forgiveness. And then, yes, make a covenant with that woman, with the father, with her father, and then move forward in a strong marriage. Well, Crazy Canuck, there are a lot of people. There would not. I'm getting ahead of myself. Yes and no. Signing that contract with having sex is not how you get married, because you then become you can become an adulterer, or you could be living in infidelity, which is sin. If you're just going around having sex randomly and not getting married, so having random sex is infidelity, which is sin, but it does not make you married, which is something that I had to figure out, because I started to think about the women that I had sex with, or the mother of football, because we consummated the marriage and he came to life. Is she one of my wives? No, because we never had a covenant of, this is what we are going to do. I am going to take you as my wife. Even though I did announce to people in the world that she was my girlfriend, which I did that with multiple other females, but I never announced anyone as my wife. I never had a covenant with someone saying that they were my wife. If I was married to her and then I went and did all the stuff that I did later on in life, then yes, she would still be my wife, because I never gave her a bill of divorce. But just having sex is sinful. Not having a covenant or being married, not having a covenant leading to marriage is totally different than just having sex. Hopefully that made sense based off of my research. Where did the chat go? My twin, Mark Chase, you need a covenant, not a license. If you pick just one, I correct. A marriage requires sex and a signed piece of paper. Just sex makes her a concubine. The definition of adultery per the Bible has nothing to do with the man's marital status, only a woman's. Yes, thank you, Palmetto Paratrooper. Super grateful to have found this community, and it has strongly changed me and my wife, and our kids will thrive for it. Yes, Yah has worked through y'all. Thank you. He is sharpening us up for battle, because we have to prepare the next generations so that they get on the pathway and they stay on the pathway. There are many of us that came up in the church, realized that the Christian church was a little bit sideways. They weren't on the right path. Their mindset wasn't right, and they were doing some nonsense out there. But now that we're actually opening up the word for ourselves, not leaving it out there for other people to tell us what we need to do, and we're going on that path and that journey ourselves with brothers, with sisters, and seeing what it is that we need to do, we could then turn back and show our children the way to go. Not just say, you need to go to college, you need to find a good woman. Well, what is a good woman? True. Well, she needs to be pretty. She needs to have birthing hips. She needs to. Is that what makes a good woman, or is it a Yah-fearing woman? A woman that is guiding her life to be a helpmeet. Is that what a good woman is? Oh, never thought about it like that. Oh, okay. Well, then what is a good man? A Yah-fearing man that is diligently working to live his life according to the Father's plan. Without that, it's nothing. In today's time, it's like, what is a good man? Oh, he's making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, and he has a yacht, and he goes hunting, and he does this, and he does that. Does that make a good man? Or does that make someone with a lot of money? If they are not living the way the Father wants them to live, then that's just a male with a lot of money. So y'all have to figure out and read for yourself what the definition of a man is, what the definition of a female is, what the definition of a brother is, what the definition of a sister is, what the definition of a child should be. And then you live that. You become that. You become the model for your children. Because if you're not, they'll find somebody on TV or the internet that they're going to mold themselves after. Because their father didn't give them any guidance on what they should be doing. Like, I remember when football used to watch Jake Paul all the time and the Paul brothers. Now he's over there throwing up. But think about all those people that were in that generation that are trying to live their lives like that. Definition of a man is Proverbs 1 through 30, plus a ton more, but it's a great starting blueprint. Yes, it is. That is where you can start to balance yourself and see if you're living up to the Father's mission. Because if you're not, what are you living this life for? I don't know. But hopefully the Father is speaking to all of you. Hopefully this message meant something to someone, and prayerfully it opened some people's eyes. So that's it for me. Y'all have a blessed evening. Shalom.